What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pass down the wall, and if you watch with my hand here, I'm up nice and high, and I've got the gun straight. I'm not aiming it up towards the ceiling. When I come to the bottom, I'm going to be aiming it towards the bottom. You'll do a thing called bananaing, and that's just going to leave you with loads of paint on the ceiling and nothing on the wall, and then loads of paint in the middle of the wall, and then nothing at the bottom. So you're trying to really keep your hand nice and straight, and see how I'm bending my knees down. And at the bottom there, I've got the gun straight still. And then when I come back up, I'll overlap 50% coming straight back up. And if you notice, my hand is almost like from here to here, I've not really moved my arm. But then from here, I'm sort of adapting it back out. And I just call it punching the air. So coming up, punch the air, up high, like so, and I'm keeping that around 10 to 12 inches away from the wall at all times. If you come up like this and you just carry on straight up, then look how far out I've come from the wall. So you really need to come from the bottom there to 10 to 12 inches, move instantly, mind. So as soon as you pull that trigger, you need to be moving. So pulling that trigger, not moving, punching the air. So you're from about here to here, you are sort of extending forward slightly with that arm. So almost like a gyro there. So if you notice, coming up, pushing the gun in. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so you can see there, I've come down to the bottom. I'll come back on, overlapped 50% of the time. That's why it looks so wet across there. If I don't join them together, which I'll show you now, so if I don't join them together properly, you're gonna have a nice gap in the paintwork. So you want to be aiming for that line every time. So as I'm coming down, I'm not actually watching the wall, I'm watching the paint, and I'm not watching the distance of my hand. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. You really just need to watch the paint going onto the wall and watch how it gels out. So I'm always making adjustments all the time. And I'm just watching. And as I get to this corner, I am moving out the way from this corner. So what I want to show you now is that if I do not have that correct distance, what that will look like. So if I just show you on this wall here. So if I've got the gun too far away, say, you can see it is patchy. So what I'm saying is, if you move that gun a little bit closer and you watch the paint, you'll know what adjustments to make on the way through. So as I come around this corner, let me just get this bit done here. So as I come round, so when you look at it from that angle, if I'm too far away, you get that. So again, too far away. If I bring that gun a little bit closer, you can see it's now a solid fan going through. So what you need to remember to do is just watch the paint. If it looks like this, which is patchy, you need to just bring that gun a little bit closer. So you don't want it to look like that. You really need to just make that. And I could mean by an inch, that could be in difference. So by just making these adjustments and watching the paint, you'll know that if you're sort of over here doing it, you might have to move it there and then go again. Because making that a small adjustment is going to make a really big difference. And I can mean like an inch. Personally, what I would be doing is I would be putting brown paper on the wall first, having a little practice, and then going onto your walls. But as long as you stay consistent and don't stop, then you really won't make that many mistakes. And even if you do make a mistake, it is paint. Like I said, it is just paint. And you're gonna roll these walls last coat anyway. So we're only putting this on as a first coat with the sprayer. So there's no need to worry if you do have those gaps, but it's always good to work on that technique and get it right. So you don't have those misses, and then it's just gonna roll out nicer. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is moving with the gun and triggering on and off. So at the bottom, I'm letting go of the trigger, and at the top, I'm also letting go of the trigger. But what I want you to do is just watch me as I come along this wall and watch my feet and watch me step across, because every time I finish on and off, I am stepping over and I'm walking away. So I'm always stood sort of side on. I do that with all my spraying. I always stand side onto the gun so I can really see what I am doing. So if you watch me now. At the bottom here, I've let go of the trigger, and then as I pull the trigger, I'm standing back up again. And then let go, and I've seen now I've stepped over, and now it's always side on. So again, stepping, and always stepping through all the time. So I'm always walking over to this side. And then as I get to that corner, I'm making the adjustment so I can get into that corner. So as I keep spraying, I will move and get into that corner.